Right. Your sacrifice for tonight is Phillip Lentsch. I think I said it wrong. Give it up for Phillip coming up to the mic as our sacrifice, y'all. Give it up for Phillip. Give it up for him.
How are y'all doing tonight? Good? Yeah. I wasn't quite prepared to do a sacrifice poem tonight, but I've got a few stored in my brain somewhere, so I'll do an old poem that I wrote. This is a piece titled 7 Ways to Miss a Phone Call. 1. You were too busy dealing with the real world to answer my call. The phone rings to an invisible audience far too long for it to continue its time on stage. 2. You just don't feel like talking at the moment. You text your friend a message telling them you're sick or catching up on your Netflix addiction to respond. Sometimes another person's voice can be overkill. 3. The alcohol has been settling in and you haven't been able to find your phone for the past 4 hours. 4. Far too many people don't know you well enough for the phone call to be worth it. Like that one guy who bummed a cigarette off you at a party one night, somehow calls you asking for the hookup on LSD. He assumes you're into drugs because you wear Argyle sweaters and like to talk about some real shit. 5. You were driving on an open highway, blaring Jimi Hendrix with the speakers and letting each strum of the electric guitar shock you into some sort of twisted purple haze that lets you forget about all the could-have-beens and should-have-beens that you mask with kush smoke and white lies for why you didn't call back. You watch as the horizon changes clothes, hands glued to the steering wheel, yet you feel limitless. The phone rings, but you can't let synthetic bullshit interrupt this moment. 6. At a certain point, the voicemail becomes some people's best memory of you. Frequency of touch begins to slowly fade as you become simply a distant afterthought. The internet is supposed to be forever, yet too many of us have forgotten over ignored calls and drunk text messages. It's been 3 years since I last heard my father speak. The last time was over voicemail. Blood may run thicker than water, but it feels like he is oceans away from me. Last Christmas, I drew a line in the sand. My memory will no longer be plagued with disappointing role models and fabricated love. Dad, every time you call, I'm forced to remind myself that we somehow let this fall to the cracks. That all we share now is physical resemblance, and it'll be rivers till I reach you. The phone line is my barrier, a fortress to protect me from facing the truth. All too often, I see it pass by like a friend I regret losing touch with. 7. September 11th, 2001. Imagine that you were a passenger on the plane that toppled the World Trade Center. The sky is falling, and you are accepting the reality that the last 2 minutes of your life will be spent over the phone. You call your wife, desperately hoping that she'll be home with the kids in order for you to hear the beauty in their breath one last time. Time is irrelevant. Moving as slowly as glaciers collapsing in a lonely tundra, each ring of the phone blends into a dejected tempo that etches itself into your memory like a battle scar. Every second that passes, another missed chance to say I love you, but she picks up, asks if you're okay, jokingly flirting that you don't usually call around this time of day, and in spite of all of this, you are happy just to hear her voice, remembering just how magnetic two people can become even over the phone. Every missed call, every failed endeavor, every wounded dream, every night that faded to black simply disappears. All that matters now is that you have each other. You whisper all too clearly, I love you, sweetheart. I love you.
All right, judges. So remember, judges, I told you you're scoring from 0.0 to 10.0. Go ahead and put the scores in the air. We're going to practice. It's a in the air thing. And go. All right. If you've been here before, please let them know how we respond to the first score. So, I see one. I see.